morning. Welcome to Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. Sheriff, I believe this is our 100th episode. Can you believe that?
It doesn't feel like it. It's just like we just started last week, you know?
Hey, time flies when you're having fun, for sure.
So.
Well, another great episode we have today, and we're talking about wanting to keep that recidivism rate down and some of the creative ways we're going about doing that.
Yeah, Shauna, we've got to continue. Unfortunately, we still have to arrest a number of people in our community. And so many of those folks we arrest come in with very little or no skills. And if they come in with no skills and just return back in the community with no skills, then likelihood is it's a revolving door. We get them, release them, get them, release them. So now we're trying to, and we've been doing this for the last 6 years, trying to figure out how do we stop that revolving door. And part of that is with our reentry efforts and trying to make sure when somebody comes to us, we can partner with that person and the community in terms of trying to get that person in a different place so they don't keep coming back to the detention facility and they don't continue to commit crimes. And I think we're having some success. Not as much as I'd like, but some.
Yeah, you know, we kicked off some efforts prior to COVID with our Big 1,000 Jobs initiative, and even some of the programming that we were ramping up. Had to scale some things back during the COVID, but now we're looking to ramp it up again.
You know, the thing that COVID showed me, one, obviously, first and foremost, our community, the business community, the chamber, all the various industries, culinary, all of them kicked in and said, we can help. We'd love to be involved. And the All-In initiative just really got going really good. And COVID hit, which gave us that step back for almost 3 years. And so now we're at a space where we think we can reunite our partners and us and start to have some greater impacts in our community. And we're looking forward to seeing if we can make that happen.
Yeah, we're going to talk a lot today about some of those efforts, but we really want to talk about our business community and how they can help and really helping to employ some of these individuals to give them a path to not walk back in the other direction.
Shauna, I'm so happy that most of the citizens out there and the businesses understand that merely arresting people and locking them up isn't the answer. The answer is how do we have long-term outcomes where people aren't being arrested, coming back to our system, and it costs us more. It's costing our community more, and it's costing our deputies and our detention facility more. And this way, I think we can start to turn that around and reduce crime. That's, at the end of the day, it's about reducing crime and making our community safer.
All right, well, we've got a brand new director of reentry services and inmate programs. We're going to meet him today. He's going to tell us about some of the initiatives that are underway. So another full episode.
Yeah, looking forward to that conversation.
All right, be sure to stick around, everybody. Coming up next, we're going to talk about how inmates are getting a fresh start at the Leon County Detention Facility. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Joining me now is LCSO's new Director of Reentry and Inmate Programs, Brad Janowski. Brad, tell us about yourself and your history before you came to Leon County Sheriff's Office.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me today. I've been involved in reentry work in the nonprofit world for about 20 years. And prior to that, I did a little bit of time working as a corrections officer and a probation and parole officer. So have a little bit of background in that as well, but I found that the reentry world, the nonprofit world, was a little bit better suited to have a more holistic approach to dealing with the reentry population, and did that for a long time. But it's a thrill for me to be back in the law enforcement side and join the sheriff's office.
Well, I'll tell you, Brad, we are excited to have you now. Talk about what exactly are you going to do with our reentry efforts in the Leon County Sheriff's Office?
Sure. So my role really involves being the manager and supervisor of 5 different departments, and primarily inmate programming internally and externally, some of our classification efforts, and our chaplaincy, among others. And so our main focus is on programming. Because we've had, as you mentioned earlier, COVID really kind of did us in for being able to bring a lot of folks in the door to help with programming. But our goal is to bring a number of community-based providers into the detention facility to provide quality, life-changing programming for those in our custody.
Yeah, you talked about COVID did stymie us for a little bit, but we're trying to get back on track, if you would. So talk about some of those programs. What are the programs that we've got going and offering to the inmates?
Yes, some really neat stuff that's really going to, I think, have a tremendous impact. And everything from just simple education, and general interest things like art classes and creative writing, but more impactful things that are going to maybe have a better impact on the folks and while they're with us, things like anger management, substance abuse treatment, some of the what we call thinking errors classes, where we can try to help people understand that maybe there's some things that they're thinking, they're doing, maybe even the people that they're letting influence them are having a big impact on getting, that's leading them to where they're at in our custody. And so we want to address some of those issues and do it in an impactful way so it has a great benefit for these folks when they leave.
Okay. Now, one of the things I really would like to know more about, what are some of the programs that you're putting in place, like the Covey training that you're talking about doing? Talk about that and how that's going to impact our inmates.
Absolutely. So just recently had an opportunity to really dig in and study the relatively new program that Stephen Covey's organization is called the 7 Habits on the Inside.
Yeah.
And so it's a great opportunity for folks to take a deep look at themselves using the very popular and impactful 7 Habits that Stephen Covey put together a number of years ago. And it's not only had an impact in the incarcerated community, but it has had a tremendous impact on the staff that were involved in helping to deliver. And so from the testimony I'm getting from other correctional facilities, the results have been phenomenal. And so I'm very eager to continue to explore and hopefully here very soon bring that into the detention facility.
Now, Brad, why are those programs so important? I know I have belief that they can make a huge difference in the inmate's life, but what do you think?
Well, you kind of mentioned that earlier about, we say this to inmates all the time, that if you keep doing what you've always done, you're going to keep getting what you always got.
Yeah.
And that's a simple way to understand that you've got to do something a little bit different. Well, we need to help them understand what are the things they're doing that maybe aren't so positive in their life. But the struggle is, when I've had people come up to me and say, well, why can't they just act normal?
Yeah.
Well, you can't define normal the way you and I might define normal, because when you've experienced certain things from a very young age and lived a certain way and had people influence you in certain ways, your normal is a whole lot different than mine. And so what we need to do is help people understand that maybe there's some different ways to think, there's some different ways to behave, and there's different people that you should let influence you in your life. And so those are really the 3 key areas that we want to focus on with most of our programming is how do you think, how do you act, and who's influencing you. And so if we can help people do some self-evaluation and just some self-discovery and think, wow, maybe I should rethink that part of my life, or maybe I should not hang out with those certain people any longer, or come up with a new social circle. That gives them something to think about. And while they're in a safe, confined area like the detention facility, that gives them a great opportunity to have some quietness and some stillness to let those things sink in.
Yeah. Well, Brad, I'm extremely excited about what you're doing, and I'm hopeful that programs like Covey will have an impact. And I want to talk about that some more. Thank you, Brad. Up next, preparing for reentry into the community, how LCSO's RISE Center is helping formerly incarcerated put their best foot forward. Stay with us.
We get another one. Go ahead.
Salted caramel cheesecake, flourless chocolate torte, and they're so pretty, but no one's going to see them.
The name of the event is Dining in the Dark. It's an annual event sponsored by LBD, and it's a dinner where everybody eats in complete darkness.
We're back with LCSO Director of Reentry and Inmate Programs, Brad Janowski. Brad, for those who may not know or be familiar with, talk about the LCSO's RISE Center and what it's all about.
Sure, the RISE Center is a fantastic community resource that we have at our disposal. tended to be a one-stop shop for folks that have experienced incarceration to come in and get some help with everything from IDs, driver's license, housing, clothing, you name it. If they need it, we can either connect them with it right there at the RISE Center, or we can connect them with a community provider that can do the same. It's a tremendous tool that's available, and I'm so glad that you were instrumental in getting that started.
Well, I tell you, Brad, it is our pride and joy if we can get that thing off the ground and running. Talk about what kind of services and how do you qualify to get into the RISE Center?
Right. Anybody who's experienced incarceration, everything from folks walking out of the detention facility can come straight over to the RISE Center and get services. And we've had folks come in the door who said, I got out of prison 20 years ago, but can you help me? And we won't turn them away at all. So our goal is to just be a resource and actually be a source of encouragement and hope for them that there is some services and help available for the things that they are desperately needing.
You know, when I was talking to Shonda earlier, I talked about the 1,000 Jobs initiatives and how important that is to us. Talk about it. Are we actually having any success out there getting jobs for inmates?
We are, and you know, it's an interesting time. You know, I've been in this field for a long time, and I remember the day when having a felony or criminal record was disqualifying, would keep you from finding a job, and that's really not the case anymore. And so we're really encouraging employers out there that if you're looking for folks, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We can connect you with people that are job seeking, and we can help you fill vital positions with some folks that have some great skills and abilities.
Brad, talk for a minute about what types of jobs are we talking about that we have already placed people in, and what kind of jobs are there that we are contemplating getting for people who are coming in of our detention facility?
Construction seems to be a very popular item right now, and folks are looking for laborers and general construction help. Also, the skilled trades are also in high demand right now. So we're encouraging folks that if they have an opportunity to learn a skilled trade, or as we do our assessments and evaluations and interviews while they're inside the detention facility, if we find people with some skilled background, we're making sure that we're making some connections before they even leave the facility. So construction, skilled trades, we're looking for some truck drivers and folks that are able to drive. Of course, retail and food service is always popular and in demand. And just last week, we hooked up one employer to our All-In Business Pledge, and the next day he hired one of our folks getting out of the detention facility. So that's exactly how it's designed to work, and my goal will be to see that happen dozens, if not hundreds of times over the next several years.
Brad, if you would, talk for just a minute about how the connection between the classes and programs we have in the detention facility connect to the efforts we're making with the RISE Center and those jobs that we're talking about.
So we're looking at a number of things that are going to be impactful. I'll give you a great example. We've connected with a local school that does some horticulture training, and they're going to come into the facility and do some certification training, providing some industry recognized credentials. They're going to be valuable the minute somebody walks out the door and be able to go to say a landscaping company and be ready to have an impact with that employer.
It may not be appropriate, but can you name some businesses that we have already out there that have this partnership?
Sure. So the one that we just signed up, Weston Trawick, is really a nice, popular company in town. And there's some electrical and cabling services, and they're in need of folks. And we put someone to work, and we're hoping to use them again. Days Inn and Suites, All True Construction are just a couple others, and we've got about 50 names on that list right now, and we're hoping to add more every single day.
Well, Brad, I can't tell you how much we appreciate the work you're doing. I can tell you that we see a difference with the inmates as they leave. We're impacting families on a regular basis with the work that you're doing. So thank you so very much. Coming up, the LCSO SWAT team hits the training field, but it's not what you expect. Find out why they're dining in the dark. Stay tuned.
In this episode of Leon County Today, our deputy on duty spotlights the LCSO SWAT team in a very enlightening role.
Okay, you hear that? Seating starting at 6:45.
Yeah.
Hey, do we have 2 extra sets of MVGs?
Salted caramel cheesecake, flourless chocolate torte, and they're so pretty, but no one's going to see them.
The site is FSU's Dunlap Champions Club, Once in position, the team will be waiting for orders, or more precisely, waiting on tables with a special mission, a partnership with Lighthouse of the Big Bend, commonly known as LBB.
It's an annual event sponsored by LBB, and it's a dinner where everybody eats in complete darkness. They do a terrific job blacking out everything and keeping all the ambient light out.
It's dining in the dark, literally. This unique sensory awareness experience provides a realistic sense of everyday life for those who have vision loss.
This was the 18th annual Paula Bailey Dining in the Dark. It was named after a client who lost her sight and had passed away. We decided to honor her.
According to LBB Chief Executive Kim Galban Countryman, the nonprofit uses this event to raise funds for a wide range of services.
LBB provides services to clients birth through life.
But it also serves as food for thought for those who may take eyesight for granted.
We try to explain to folks before they get in here that one of the best things to do is to use their fingertips to walk their fingers around the table. Because it's not like you could just sit down and go and grab your drink. You do that, you're knocking things over, you're putting your hand in your neighbor's salad dressing. Your depth perception goes away. There is no perception, it's all gone. Even though none of us actually sits and looks at our hands while we're eating, we're still seeing it out of the corner of our eyes, out of the bottom of our eyes. We still can see it a little bit. It's enough to guide it to the right spot, guiding it to our mouth, and all that goes away.
Up against pitch black circumstances, Lieutenant Shea explains the tactics to table maneuvers that come into play with the aid of night vision goggles.
We need our equipment in order to do the event, so we were issued a Kevlar helmet that has our night vision goggles attached to the mount on the front of the helmet. They basically have a tube in them. You turn them on. It has an on-off switch to capture any light that is in the area. We're able to see and help escort the patrons into their tables to start out with. So we help them get seated, get them water, or if they have to use the restroom, they'll raise their hand and we'll escort them back out to the entrance exit point.
That's not dressing.
That's not dressing? Okay, what is it, Mike?
Dressing.
Okay, I got it.
That would have made for a pretty unpleasant salad.
What was it?
I think it's no creamer for the coffee.
I love it because it also reminds our guests that there's another side to them too. They provide a service to the community just like LBB does. It's amazing. They make this event for us.
While unseen to the guests, their efforts do not go unnoticed.
Well, helping us get seated, of course, was Leanne County's SWAT team, so not a night guest.
And for first-time attendees like Edward Romero, it's an experience like no other.
I honestly really do appreciate this event because it really puts everyone inside, that feeling of what it is like and what it feels like to not have any eyesight at all. Something simple as eating and drinking can be very difficult.
Romero, a military veteran who lost sight in one eye while on duty overseas, admits serving tables is not the first thing that comes to mind when visualizing a SWAT team, but he is grateful.
Definitely counterintuitive that the SWAT team were the ones serving everyone the food and guiding everyone to their seats. It's still like a very safe feeling and it's very secured feeling to know that they are here.
As the lights are finally raised, so too are the spirits of those who were all in for a worthwhile cause.
Honestly, it's very enjoyable, and a lot of guys enjoy doing it. It gives us a good opportunity to, be in an environment where we have to use our NVGs for an extended period of time. So in a lot of ways, from that aspect, it's a good training piece for us.
We know other organizations that host Dining in the Dark events where the guests are blindfolded, not the same event. Not even close to the same event. The only reason this event is the quality of the experience that it is because of the partnership with the SWAT team.
For more information on the next Dining in the Dark event and how you can be all in to support the Lighthouse of the Big Bend, you can visit their website at seenindependence.org. I'm Angela Green for Leon County Today.
Welcome back to Leon County Today with Sheriff Walt McNeil. Sheriff, the Dining in the Dark experience, it's twofold. We're out helping our community, but training at the same time.
Yeah, that's a really unique way for our deputies and our SWAT team to engage with a worthy cause in our community and at the same time be engaged in training. And I hope that it catches on. Other citizens in our community understand what we're trying to do. The importance, what it talks about is how people who are visually impaired, how their circumstances are different, and how we should try to all understand not only persons who are impaired, but citizens who have different types of issues and concerns. And I'm just so proud of our SWAT team for being a huge part of making it happen.
Absolutely. And then talking about everything that's going on with our reentry programs, we have really put this effort out there and really put a challenge out there to our business community and community in general.
Yeah, I am extremely optimistic that our business community is going to step up, and I've had several conversations with businesses across our community, and they're all willing to step in. We kicked off the All In initiative about 6 years ago, and quite honestly, this community has risen to the occasion. And so I'm looking forward to working with businesses and seeing the LCSO drive crime down.
That's what it's all about.
At the end of the day, it's driving crime down.
All right, thank you so much, Sheriff, and thank you all for joining us for another episode. We'll see you back here next week.